I just can't believe that these efficiency gains are making up all the difference like they're preaching to us. And around the world, we're cheap, and our competitors have already made the big cuts, and so they're getting good prices in the EU, and so their stuff is more expensive. So I think we're set perfect here. It's just that, it took years and years of pain. At some point, I think this hog market's going to be decent again.
Yeah. Mark, one of the things that I cannot understand, and from my point of view, a consumer's point of view, when I look at the whole loin prices at the meat case, it's a hell of a deal. That's great news for me. Okay? But how can that be? How can that loin be as cheap as it is, Mark?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's more margins on other parts, definitely. But yeah, they're terrible cheap, and we should be having that should spur a lot of great demand. But and I think it will. It's just
okay.
But it takes time. But the hams are doing good. We're sending a lot of hams to Mexico, and so yeah, I was feeling a lot better 7 days ago than I am today. Or even Wednesday, I was feeling really good. But man, when they whack you like that, then you start going back and wondering what changed, what happened, and then you look at how long the funds are, and say, okay, well, through a war event and any kind of fear, and all of a sudden things change.
Yeah. Is there anything in the conversation about what's going on in the U.S. economy? Is that having an impact on corn or on cattle and hog pricing right now?
Yeah, I think it definitely does. If you watch the cattle, they seem to do well when the S&Ps are doing well.
That's true, yeah.
So I definitely think that there's a good connection in the cattle, and we're still, even though it's this big sell-off, we're still at really high prices, and so our volatility has been crazy and kind of keeps your head spinning. At the same time, we're still at relatively high prices. And percentage-wise, our moves aren't probably quite as crazy as they were when we're trading in the 70s and 80s instead of the 180s. But it's not for the faint of heart, I can tell you that.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure. Okay, so those $100 for June, July, August in hogs, are you looking at doing anything to keep yourself sane in cattle?
I'm not sure that's possible.
That's the reason for the chuckle, yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not crazy about selling futures right here, right now. I kind of want to see how things play out a little bit after this big dip. But yeah, look at your whole card and see where your break-evens are. If you need to, you need to. And knowing that this is kind of the bearish time of frame, from now till fall is usually the more bearish, then maybe that would be something to do with this. You got to have your banker right there with you. You have $5-6 moves today.
Mark, we keep looking to the economic, the financial side of the equation. We keep looking at the gut conditions, so grassland conditions, for a sign of when the herd rebuilding on the beef side is there more that we should be looking at? I mean, is it an industry that's going to rebuild, or are we just looking at a smaller herd going forward?
I think it's just going to be a smaller herd going forward unless you can, find some help labor-wise. This kind of all started a long time ago when the smaller herds in the South, the people got out and the next generation didn't get in. And now you're going to kind of have that here in the Midwest and the West. And it's the capital it takes. If you want to buy a pair right now and interest at 9, I just think it's going to be a slow rebuild, if any, and the timing's not set up right with our aging, producer. So I don't see it rebuilding much at all for a while.
Well, if that's the case, and I am not going to argue with you on that point at all. If that's the case, there's a tide lifting this cattle complex for quite some time, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think our biggest concern would be if we import too much. Now, we're importing quite a bit, but people have to look every Thursday morning at that export report. We're also exporting a fair amount. So the packers like to remind you that we're importing a lot, which is true. And going forward, you know, you got to pay attention to the Australian herd and the South America herd. But at least even though that's for a fair amount, we're also importing. So, yeah, I think the cattle thing looks pretty good here for a while. Because I think it's going to be tough to rebuild the costs as they are.
And as long as we're exporting what doesn't really work in our beef case, you know, it's okay for the consumer out there, but the consumer, they sure don't want to see the loins or the ribs get that corner. There's no question about that. So, gotta keep track of it. Good point to remember there on the importing fees and how that the importing trade is just keeping this hamburger market alive for us. I don't think there's any question about it. Mark, it's always great to talk with you, man. Thank you so much for making time. Good luck and stay safe.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Chip.
You bet. You bet. Mark Rempe. And in Oskaloosa, Iowa, Quad Commodities. Okay, it's Monday. That means it is time to take a look at the charts and figure out what they might be telling us for the week and the months ahead. We've got Carrie Hartsack, Hartsack Advisory, coming up next here on AgriTalk.
Now the most up-to-date weather forecast here on KFEQ.
Folks, please be weather aware, especially through the overnight hours into Tuesday. Multiple rounds of showers and thunderstorms expected. We do have a risk of severe weather here with all modes of severe weather possible and also chances for heavier rain. Straight thunderstorm chance for the rest of today. We're warming to the mid-80s, increasing storm chances tonight. I'm Edie, your altitude check for Air Warm.
Register to win a brand new 2024 GMC Sierra now at Menards. Sponsored by Shaw Builders. See store for details. Save big money at Menards.
When severe weather is in our area, make sure you're listening to 680 KFEQ on 95.3 FM for up-to-the-minute coverage. Sponsored by Affordable Insurance Solutions. Call 676-2886. When others say no, yes.
The algorithm has your dollar in its crosshairs. It censors study flow images telling her she isn't thin enough. Causing body dysmorphia, anxiety, depression, leading to the worst rates of eating disorders, self-harm, and suicide we have ever known. All of this she's put right next to you on her phone. Congress knows, but it refuses to act. Don't let her suffer with secret pain alone. Use your voice. Demand a plan. Join us at the Center for Countering Digital Hate. ProtectingKidsOnline.org. Because it's up to you to protect your children from social media nightmares. Join us. Support. You will belong.
Safe and healthy on the phone. Call Central State Center for Agricultural Safety and Health at the University of Nebraska Clinic, 402-552-3394/help. Or refinancing your rate. FDN Finance has the agricultural expertise to help you reach your goals. Simply put, FDN Finance puts farmers first. With great rates, instant approvals, and pre-qualifications on farmland loans, FDN Finance has everything you need to be your partner in the fields and with your finances. And now, you can get $500 off closing costs for loans over $250,000. Start your farmland loan today.